is Kenitra.
It's Ade Busola.
And we are BGMT.
Today, we're going to be talking about something that's very difficult for most and not so difficult for others. We're going to be talking about how to deal with conflict. So, positive confrontation and knowing how to hold your tongue and all those different things. I had to learn along the way of starting BGMT. Kenitra still struggles.
I do.
I think she's better.
I am.
But she still does struggle.
I do.
I think it has to do with her pettiness.
No, it's my inability to not say something.
Pettiness.
No.
Because she's the queen of petty. You are.
I will take that crown. However, it's hard for me to not say. Prime example. Okay, so this was literally 2 days ago. I didn't even tell you this story. Oh, so I'm at a store, and I'm getting things from my mom, and there's another lady who walks in as like another lady, because I'm second in line at this point. And she comes in, she straight up interrupts the whole conversation happening between the lady and the customer. She's like, well, this is broken, this isn't working. And the girl's like nice about it. She's like, oh, like, just step to the back of the line and, you know, I'll handle you next. Like, it's fine. Like, you just have to get in line. Now, I'm next in line. She, instead of saying, excuse me, pushes me out of the way. Like, grinds her whole body on me instead of just saying, excuse me. This is where my inability to not say something comes in. I went off. Like, I'm not going to hold y'all. I went smooth off because you know what? In this situation, I just felt like it was a lack of respect. It was a lack of manners, and that pisses me off. And most of my confrontations happen lack of manners and you just not having good sense. That's my personal battle. Because you could have said, excuse me, nicer. I didn't say it nicely. I went off. Like,
okay, but I understand that because that's someone physically touching you.
Right.
And I'm not going to say that I would have went off. I'd be like, can you say excuse me next time? You just touched me and I didn't want to be touched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like...
I was hot.
Something verbal. Something that could be hashed out. For example, I mean, I don't remember the deep details of what happened when we first started BGMT. Do you remember?
Yeah, so... There was another organization at the school we went to. Somebody had made up a rumor that I had said something about another organization, which is not true because I'm not going to sit around and just talk about y'all. Like you know, anybody. Like, for what? And that got back to the people who ran that organization, and it created tension between us and them. And that was something we were able to talk about, but it started off with a rumor. And the people who it affected are very much like ourselves, you know, strong personalities, very outspoken, very well-spoken.
Women,
absolutely.
Of color.
Shout out to them. And it could have went really wrong, especially then because if y'all think I'm petty now... Honey, ask her because she was right there with me.
She was very ruthless, and she wanted it to hurt.
Right.
She didn't have to be physical with you for it to hurt.
Right.
So I had observed that about her, and the whole reason why we started BGMT was to empower women of color, and I think that another way of empowering women of color is knowing how to confront people in a positive way.
Right.
And so... what she wanted to do, I didn't let it happen. I said, you know what, let's just talk this out. Yeah. Because, like you said, what the rumor that's going around isn't true.
Right.
Let's just talk to them.
Yeah.
Because I started to feel the tension too. I started to see the eyes and the eye rolling and the looking up and down stuff. But I'm just like, I don't even know you. And you know what I mean? So
and those things were my triggers back then.
Yeah.
I was very much like, so what was said? What's the problem? But I'm not like that no more. Wow.
All right, I'll take that. Speaking into existence. I BGMT, I really just wanted to break barriers. Right. And that was one of them because I had that problem myself. Right. Me, I used to go looking for trouble. You know, people look at me the wrong way. I'll be like, what are you ever looking at? Can you, what's your issue? Mm-hmm. Be like, I just like your earrings. I'm just like, okay. I feel so extra defensive. Yeah. But now it's just like, even if someone comes for me, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm going to be a punk. But I will I will calm myself down before anything else. I'm not going to get out of character for anybody. Right. You know, I have learned to take things a little more calmly. Yeah. I want to share this experience with me that empowered me a lot, and I think it affected other people. It did. So, Kanisha was a part of
yes. It was an intersectional feminist group at FSU. Shout out to them. Founding member, by the way, gang. Shout out to the rest of the girls. And we arranged this thing. We were going to talk about this very situation of like being in confrontation with another woman of color and how like that makes all of us look when we do have a public confrontation between the two of us. And then my friend here resolved an issue with somebody who she had. Funny enough, I was there when the first interaction happened. Oh, yeah. I'll tell them about that interaction, and then you will tell them how you grew as a woman. Okay? So I was at work. She was with me. I had her at work with me. And I was working in a building, and she came in. She was chilling with me. We were hanging out. And remember I said she was looking for confrontation? So she was like, yo, text me when you see this person. And I did. Because that's my girl. So I was like, I ain't say no more. Like, because they had a real issue to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'll hit her up. So I hit her up and I said, yo, I just saw this person. And she said, say no more. She was there within like 2 seconds. And she was hanging out with me, and then the person came back. And it started out as a very cool, calm conversation. It started out that way. The first 2 minutes were cool, calm, and collected. But then the other person decided that she was going to raise her voice. And
it wasn't really the voice raising. It was the pointing of the finger.
Right. It was like very much like this.
Her fingers were like right here. Like my eyes could be cross-eyed. Like it was that close.
Yeah,
I was
and
like, what are you
she
doing?
raised her voice and did a lot of this, and that. So we talked about my triggers with the eye rolling and all the little petty things. That was her trigger. And it went left. Like, quick. Like, it went from a conversation to straight up, what you gonna do about it? Like, it was very much like, all right, this is about to get real. And I'm sitting there, I'm at work, I'm just like, okay, this went further than I because the way it started, it sounded like it was gonna go very smooth. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. And it turned into a full-on the other person was screaming, and she was in the fighting stance, like hand over the wrist, head cocked, like what you about to do, like swing if you want to, kind of thing. But then they resolved it a few months later. Yeah, my friend.
Actually, it wasn't even a few months.
Was it
like
a year?
A year. Yeah, it was a year. We did not talk at all. Every time she walked by, it
was a year and change.
And so I decided that I wanted to confront her. The funny part was that I don't think there was like a specific topic, but it was like the end of the year. Yeah. And like we were all went around the circle to talk about the things that we liked about Miss that year. Yeah. And for some reason she comes in and there's only like one seat left. She walks in and I could see that she didn't want to take that seat. But that was the only seat that was left. Right. She sat next to me, and I could see other people who knew about our beef. Like, oh snap, they're sitting next to each other. Like, okay, let's see how that goes.
Let's see how this works.
So she sat next to me. When it came to my turn, I just said whatever I had to say, blah 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 blah. And then at the end, Amari. Yep. Amari was just like, okay, does anyone else have anything else to say? Da 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 da. And I was just like, you know what, I do. And I could see Kanisha just be like,
that's exactly what I did.
And I hate for people to feel that way about something I'm about to say because I'm not Rec anymore. Like, I don't want to be seen that way.
Yeah.
So I said, I have something to say to this person. And basically, I confronted the issue. I said that I don't really know what our problem is, to be honest. It's not a real problem. You didn't sleep with my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. You didn't steal from me.
Right.
You know, this was just he said, she said.
Right.
You know, and why can't we resolve something like that, you know? It got to the point where she was so overwhelmed because she's also a very defensive person. That's why she had her fingers in my face the first time we had the confrontation. Mm-hmm. And I could see that she was very defensive too, but she wasn't expecting, she said it herself, she wasn't expecting that kind of positive confrontation to the point where she got emotional. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a hugger, but like I felt like I needed to console her at the time. Mm-hmm. Like literally 2 seconds ago we were still beefing, and now you know what I mean? A lot of people don't encounter positive confrontation, and I feel like that was like my secret weapon for myself. That was my first time ever confronting someone positively like that. Mm-hmm. So I felt so empowered. I ended up seeing that a lot of other girls were empowered by what I did because they came to me like maybe a few weeks later, like I saw what you did that day, and like it made me, you know, stop having beef with this girl because it was over a dude, and it's just like we don't even talk to that dude anymore, and it's just like whatever, like it was just so, I felt so empowered because I didn't expect I didn't walk in there thinking that I was gonna do that. I didn't even know I was gonna see her, but something in me was just like, you need to dead that. You need to be an example for BGMT. You need to be an example for yourself. You need to be an example for your little sister. You need to be an example for your future daughter and your future children.
You are an example for me, sis. Because I was sitting there just as grown as you, and I was like, girl, like that was a situation where I was so proud of you as a friend. Because like I knew, because I was there at the initial conflict, and like had she did another one of them points, we'd be having a whole different conversation right now. And you did something really big. Like, you really was like, listen, I don't got no issue with you. Like, and you did it in a public form. Because y'all's confrontation was pretty private, but you did a public, listen, I was on some stuff. We ain't really got beef like that. Like, you know, like, kind of like, how we gonna work this out? Yeah. And she got super emotional, and like, people were crying. Like, it was multiple people were crying. Like,
yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
There was a lot of people crying in that room. Like, and I was like, y'all don't even know what's going on, but y'all crying? Like, because people knew that you two didn't get along. People knew that. Because we went to a small school, everybody found out everybody's business. But like, people knew they didn't get along. And then it was a week after your sister had came. Yeah. Because that was a thing that was brought up, like, because Ade's sister, shout out to Buki, had came to the school, and she did like this amazing talk with us, and it was bomb. And the other girl had felt uncomfortable because she was like, I don't know if Buki likes me because of the situation going on between you and her, and like, I don't even think Buki knew. She didn't even know. I didn't even tell my sister. She had no idea. I don't even think she knew. But the girl was like, I didn't know how to say, like, even thank her for what she came and did because of the confrontation that had happened previously. And it just goes to show, like, how far these confrontations or small issues can go. I still struggle with, like I said, not saying something. Because it's hard for me to not say something. I've always been like, see something, say something. You know, like, that's always been kind of my thing, where if I'm bothered by something, I need to express myself. But I'm learning from my friend here how to positively express myself and not being, you know, maybe a little petty sometimes.
And it's not just about, you know, that. It's really more about, I'm a mom now. Yeah. And I need to learn how to diffuse situations, because some situations become physical, and then some people don't fight fair. They want to use weapons, and that can turn deadly. It can turn something so much bigger. Why ignite something like that when you could de-escalate? Right. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's unnecessary. Maturity. And it's something that it's learned. It's learned. I didn't learn that overnight. I had to learn how to be patient, you know, and how to take the truth and how to deal with situations head on. Right. In a positive way.
Always. Maturity, my friend, but we're doing our best. You've reached, and I'm trying to get there. As always, it's been real. We've been BGMT. Peace out.